everyone. I'm Michelle Navedo, and welcome to Friday 420 Christmas Edition. We're celebrating the season this year by spotlighting the farms behind the 12 Days of Christmas. Now in its second year, the 12 Days of Christmas bring together 12 craft cannabis farms from the Emerald Triangle in California to create a holiday sampling of 12 different varieties, one from each farm. Today, we'll be talking to those three farms and learning more about the Emerald Triangle Craft Collective, a community of small batch cultivators coming together to showcase the quality of Emerald Triangle cannabis and also to protect the heritage of the region. So I'm so excited to be joined by Patricia Vargas, Sunroot Farms, Matt Browning of Mendo Mystic, and Craig Najedli, owner of Talking Trees Farms. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, so let's get started. Patricia, I'd like to start with Sunroot's farm. So your farm runs on a closed loop system, meaning the farm grows its own vegetables, herbs, fruit, fungi, herbal medicine, alongside the cannabis. So can you tell us a bit about this sustainable ecosystem you're creating there?
Sure. We are a licensed 5,000 square foot farm in Mendocino County. So that's about half the size that Mendocino County is legally allowed to grow. It's less than a quarter acre. So we really focus on growing high quality yields. Each one of our plants is a larger size. We grow literally trees, 15, 16 foot tall trees that yield more. We specialize in working with our own genetics, which is part of our closed loop system. So we're breeding every year and we're always looking for the funnest, most fragrant, terpy, medicinal plants and bringing that to the people, which is what we really believe in, is providing something that's really special and different in this space. And we have alpacas, we have chickens, we have our dogs, and we've had sheep in the past. We're just trying to create a system of farming that is an ecosystem within itself that benefits from every point aspect. So the alpacas help, providing their amazing manure, and they also are great for fire prevention. They're soft on the land. The chickens as well, everything, and the plants, growing flowers, growing herbs, growing fruit and food alongside the cannabis canopy is something that's really helped us with like pest management and reducing our costs because we're creating an ecosystem that's closed loop like that. What it does is just benefit the soil even more because now the roots of the cannabis are not only sharing along with the critters and all the beneficials in the soil, they have root systems and communications with other herbs, which in my opinion, I think really helps inform the terpene profile later on in the plant. There's all kinds of fun stuff, but yeah, we're always experimenting and having new revelations every year of how to make things funner and more beautiful.
Did you say 16-foot plants?
Yeah, I was mentioning to some of you, like our biggest plant we yielded 20 pounds one year off of, and that was using compost from other plants, of cannabis plants and of the herbal plants that we grow alongside.
And you have an interesting system of the mulching and using the materials from the land to create the substrate, create the soil to grow your pots. Can you speak about that? Or to grow your plants?
Yeah, so we definitely believe that growing high yields and growing quality medicine starts with the soil. That's another part of I'm sure we'll get into it, the DEM Pure certification that our farm does have. It's really about managing soil and creating the ecology of this space where the plant can fully thrive. So what we do is called sheet mulching or lasagna planting. You can imagine like a lasagna, we're building layers of soil throughout the season. And that means we're adding layers of hay, we're adding layers of green mulch, which will be chop and drop comfrey, stinging nettle, even like other herbs that are just kind of taking over, plants that I have Angel's trumpet out here, and sometimes she's a little too much, or like the motherwort is a little too much. We'll chop it and drop it, and that becomes a biomass layer in the lasagna. And we're also adding in manure from the alpacas. We do source local horse manure. So it's really just using what you have on the property for us, and through our neighbors, finding local sources where we can just continue adding to the lasagna every year and throughout each season as well. It's not just in spring or fall, it's all throughout the seasons.
Amazing. And so you said that the herbs and the food that you grow are certified with DEM or DEM Pure certification. What is DEM certification?
So DEM Pure DEM stands for an acronym, Dragonfly Earth Medicine. It's a international community that is really focused on practicing beyond organic, regenerative methods of agriculture and lifestyle. It seeps into more than just how we grow. It's also how we feed ourselves and how we, are on this planet. It's a certification that really represents we're trying to go above and beyond sustainable. We're actually trying to help heal the soil. And through healing the soil, we're working on healing our own communities and healing our own selves. So it's a big perspective of just working together, working with what we have, and making the earth a better place.
It's a beautiful, beautiful country out there in the Emerald Triangle, and a very fragile ecosystem there as well. And so I heard that the farm is recognized by the National Wildlife Federation as a certified wildlife habitat because of the work that you put in to preserve the land. So why go through all the trouble? Why not just grow some weed on your land,
For sure. We just believe that cannabis is a pathway to sacred medicine. For us personally, it's beyond just growing and selling product. We did not start this farm because we wanted to have a commercial industrial grow. We started this farm and we are users of the plant because it's been medicinal to us. And we understand that this plant is very sacred, and we want to honor her completely because like many forms of agriculture, the small farm gets lost out. And I think what we need to remember with any type of growing and any job that we do is that there's a love and passion behind it. There's an intention behind it. And it's not just greed. And I've always said to my partner, Forrest, who has been actually growing out here, he was born in Covelo, Mendocino County, which is where our farm is located. And he's been here the whole time seeing the changes. And we've always said, once it becomes to a point where it's like a greedy or like we need more, that's it. That's when we know we're done. So our intention is to create medicine that when people smoke it, they feel good. They find, something within them that just gives them, a different light and inspiration. So yeah, intention behind the medicine is everything for us.
Yeah, I would say it's everything in general, just period. Intention behind the medicine that we make is everything. So thank you for that. Amazing. Matt Browning with Mendo Mystic. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
You guys have such an interesting story about your farm. So your father started growing cannabis on that land in 1983 in the pre-legalization days, and kept it going throughout all the raids and chaotic changes and regulations. Can you tell us a bit more about the background of the farm?
So, our background, we're a 5,000 square foot farm. We're located, we border the Seabiscuit, the racehorse ranch. Our property used to be part of it. They subdivided it, some time ago, and my dad ended up acquiring the property. So we're on like this perfect ridge top where we overlook the entirety of the Willits Valley, the Redwood Valley, and we just get that nice coastal influence. But like a lot of other farms, in the area, we didn't start cultivating, or at least my parents didn't start cultivating to make tens of millions of dollars, and in this ever-ending pursuit of as Patricia said, greed. We just were back to earthers, hit off in the ridge tops and just minded our own business. My dad always worked construction on the side. And then it was mostly, my mom, my sister, myself, we would all come together and we would manage the farm. So I got involved in it at a very, very young age, going around doing, fertilized schedules, things like that, and keeping up on that aspect of it. But
How
yeah,
old were you?
we've definitely, we've seen a few of the different, changes of the industry, in the early, 2000s, when there was much more of the industry there. But, now today it's, we're keeping it simple. We're actually producing about 2,500 square foot of our license. But that usually equates to about, 150 plants. And yeah, we just try to keep it simple.
I heard that your dad was actually like growing up in the trees initially, as we were to try to keep away from the helicopters, camp helicopters and stuff that were flying overhead at the time. How did you? What age were you when you started getting involved in the farm?
When I started getting mostly involved, it was between, I'd say earliest right around 8 years old, when, I was aware of what my parents were doing, aware of the stakes, aware of that I could never have friends, can come over to the property. And, during harvest season, it's keeping a change of clothes on the front of the property. So when my parents took me to school, I can change into fresh clothes. So, growing up in like that aspect of the industry, it's one of those, from like an outside perspective, people like look in shock and awe, but
Right.
you talk amongst a lot of the youth around here, and that was just kind of an everyday occurrence for a lot of us.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody deals with their own set of challenges growing up. Um, Amazing. And so now you're leading the helm as the second generation cannabis
Yeah,
farmer on that
I'd be
same
the
land.
second generation leading it, where largely what my parents did previously, we were in pots, and we were sticking to less sustainable and regenerative practices. And since legalization has moved over, and in the quest of reducing the cost, because some of these farms, you can get caught up in these super expensive feed regimens, that ultimately what we found that worked best for us is that we're managing our land, we're feeding the soil, and then the plants get fed through that. And it's this nice circle of life where we get to kind of see the different blooms or different pests go to different flowers that we've planted, so that we can mitigate issues with the cannabis. And so we have to touch it less through the growing process, which just helps maintain it, and in our opinion makes it a lot better, because there are a lot of aspects there where environmental factors change your terpene profiles. And if we grew the same genetic, as Patricia grew the same genetic, as Craig grew the same genetic, it would all come out in its own unique aspects, based on our different microclimates and where we're at in the valleys and ridge tops. So that's one of the great things about cannabis.
Yeah, and inputs as well. Yeah. Are you still using the same practices your dad was using 40 years ago?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's been a lot of evolution in terms of the different things that we've done. Where, I mean, we've tried every way of cultivation and different, feed cycles. Whether you're going into like, when I was a kid, it was you go to the grocery store and just buy whatever they recommend. And but as time has gone on, and more research into like the regenerative side and sustainable side of agriculture, we're finding that you can do a lot more with cover cropping, going through and just amending the soil where it does need help, and then supplying good compost, to help, have that extra boost through the season. But beyond that, it's just, compost teas as well as another, big part of the farm, where we'll go through and do the bubbler and kelp, and throw your worm castings in there and molasses, and get a nice brew going. But I mean, it's a lot of farms kind of go that route, where we're just doing it small time, where we can give the attention to the plants.
And you mentioned you grew about 120 plants this year. Are you guys growing them as big as Sunroot's farm?
Not as big. We've done some that big in the past, though. For given my parents' age, my dad was born in '64, my mom in '69, so they're getting on the older side, and we want to make it as easy to manage for all of us, since it is literally my dad, my mom, and then myself manage the whole farm. We trim, process, everything.
Wow.
So we keep our plants to about 7 foot tall. And we try to grow them to about 3 to 4 pound plants usually.
Very cool. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that story. Craig, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Craig Najedli of Talking Trees Farms. Welcome to the show. So you started Talking Trees Farms in Humboldt County back in 2014. And I learned that before that, you had co-founded the skateboarding and apparel company, Satori Movement. So I'm wondering, can you tell us a bit about where the farm is located in Humboldt and some of the sustainability efforts that you are involved in to steward the ecosystem there in Humboldt County?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Talking Trees, the farm, we're down to one farm. We had a few farms, but over the years, it's good to simplify and keep things a little bit more manageable. Just right outside of Willow Creek. So kind of eastern, northern Humboldt.
Okay.
Settled in at 1,200 foot elevation, oversee the valley, the Trinity River Valley. Beautiful area to be in. Love it there. And in terms of the farm and sustainability, we try to kind of keep closing it as loop as possible. I mean, it's a 22,000 square foot farm, so it's a little bit more to manage than a smaller farm in terms of all the great stuff the other two farms are doing.
Yeah.
But we do all organic amendments, plant cover crops, nettles, clover, and till that stuff in, and try to definitely grow all organic and just trying to keep it simple, avoid bottled products that are just trash and waste of money, and people pile up on their properties. And in terms of water, I have a half-acre rain catchment pond. So between that and a lot of water storage tanks, that 2 wells I have on the property, we predominantly feed from our pond. And then if the pond does dry up, mid-September, we'll go to our water storage. Mm-hmm. So we don't even divert any water from groundwater systems or rivers and creeks or anything.
Yeah.
Although I had to get a permit to do so because I had a creek on my property. So they made me get a 1,600 permit in the early days of permitting. So it's just one other way they like to extract money out of us.
And are you guys growing mostly under cover in greenhouses?
Well, recently it's all in greenhouses, but I took the covers off because it's more manageable. I don't have to run fans. I don't have to run electricity now. As the market evolves and things change, you have to adjust and adapt. So this last season was the first time I took all the clear plastic off. We're running it just like a full sun outdoor, but I do have beds in the greenhouses, and I go the other route of I plant a lot of plants and try to grow kind of smaller plants and keep it a little bit more manageable in that realm. I want them to be 4 feet tall at maturity.
Yeah, more traditional kind of size.
No. Yeah, I mean, back when
not for Humboldt
days, if you wanted to have less than 100 plants, you wanted to grow those really big plants and
the
numbers. So that was one thing with the legalization. We can do more numbers. It's a little bit more manageable for the team.
Yeah.
And say if you did have a root issue or some type of problem with the plant, it's a much harder loss to lose a 20-pound plant than a half-pound plant.
Yeah, for sure. I heard that you design some of the packaging that you use for Talking Trees yourself. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm really it sucks how much packaging we have to do in the legal market. Every product has to be prepackaged. People are using glass or Mylar plastic bags. And those kind of things just don't settle well with me. So for my pre-rolls, I basically went to the grocery store. In the bulk bin section, they have the biodegradable plastic bags. I cut one up, had an agent in Asia that I've been working with for packaging. I was like, this is what I want. I want a biodegradable pouch so I can put my pre-rolls in, and then into a cardboard box, which is also compostable and natural. And we were able to develop it. So I developed home compostable, biodegradable pouches for my pre-rolls. And then we slipped those into a cardboard box. And now we have 100% compostable pre-rolls. And then all our flour is made, packaged into compostable Mylar bags. So they're made out of corn cellulose.
Wow, that's really cool. And the seal inside of the box for the pre-rolls, is that kind of airtight? Does it keep the cure?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. They're kind of hard to open. That was my one concern with bringing them to market, is like you got to either like bite it or cut it open.
Yeah.
And it took like over a year and a half for one of my guys that was doing the pre-rolls like, hey, we just developed this. We just realized you could just pull this thing apart and it opens right up. I was like, that's amazing. That's great. As long as whatever. I don't even care about the state, but I'll be like, that's not childproof. It was adult proof till we figure out how to do it. And so since the single use, it doesn't have to be resealable. So it's a closed pouch, and I think it helped maintain freshness for quite a while.
Yeah, very cool. Are you thinking about maybe bringing that out to kind of help other companies maybe learn or, start using more compostable?
I offer it to anyone that wants to use it. I'm all about sharing, especially if it's something that's going to be better for the planet. Yeah. So I make it available. A couple of farms have reached out, and I just did a packaging project with another farm in Mendocino County that just got some of our Eco Mylar bags for their flour.
Very cool. Very cool. Amazing. Well, we've heard a bit about all of your farms. Now I'd like to talk about the reason that we're here today, which is to talk about the 12 J's of Christmas. So the 12 J's of Christmas is a limited collection, 12 joints, 12 different craft farms in the Emerald Triangle region. So that's Humboldt County, Mendocino, and Trinity counties. And all of the herb is sun-grown using small-scale craft techniques and sustainable methods, all the way down to the packaging. And so, Patricia, I was wondering if you could show us the box and tell us some about the collection and some of the strains and farms represented there. I'm going to put you on full screen here.
Absolutely. Okay, so here she is. The 12 J's Christmas box. It's a large box, and it's got this beautiful art by Mabel. And it's the 12 J Saints. And then you open up the box.
For the people that are listening, there are 12 birds on the cover, and they all seem to have a J in their mouth. And they seem to be enjoying life. Nice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful art.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it's green and gold. And then inside you open it up and it says celebrate the season with something sacred, and gives a little description about the Emerald Triangle. There's a QR code for the website, which is emeraldtrianglecraft.com, where you can find information on like where to buy these, either at retail stores or coming to one of our holiday events in December. And when you open up this box, you'll see a pamphlet that has the farms on both sides. So each farm has a little picture and bio here, so you can learn more about them.
Yeah, it's almost like tradable trading cards, but they're not separated. But maybe one day you guys can make trading cards for the different farms.
Yeah, and then inside it has some of our retailers and sponsors who are carrying the box. And then once you get through that, you will find the 12 J's. And here we have all of the 12 different farmers' joints, and they're all packaged in their own packaging. So really fun, really cool. A bunch of different strains in here. So you're going to be getting all types of effects. And I actually was so excited about this myself that I got a few just to give as gifts, because it's just such a fun way to try different herb from all these amazing, really conscious grower farms. So you know that everything you're smoking in here is going to be good for you, good for the planet. and a really lovely smoke.
Is the packaging itself sustainably produced?
What was that?
Is the packaging itself sustainably produced?
Yeah, it's all paper. This is all cardboard paper. And then most of us in here, like Craig's here talking trees at the end, like the biodegradable packaging. Some of us have the compostable shrink wraps on there for the tamper proof. Myself, Sunroot Farm, we have the hemp tubes or glass tubes. So yeah, we're trying to do everything as possible to like create a package that isn't, there's no plastic in here other than maybe some of the cases for the joints. So we hope you can collect it and it lasts. And underneath each of the joints as well, there's another image of the Stoner J.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful. Something really special that you guys have created there.
Yeah,
Very nice.
we are thrilled about it.
So I heard that there are two ways to get the box. You can buy it at your local retailer, and I saw Embark was one of your sponsors, and I heard that it's available at all the Embark dispensaries throughout the state. Is that right? Yeah,
That is correct.
And how else can folks get a box?
So you can either go to one of the retailers that we are at. In order to find that, you would go to emeraldtrianglecraft.com. Let me make sure that website is correct.
I believe it is,
Yeah. I want to make sure I give the right website here. And so when you click that website, you're going to see like how to get a box. And there's a little button, and there's two ways. You can either go, you'll see find a retailer near you, and it'll list all the retailers throughout the state of California. And then there's also become a VIP donor, which is another option for people who want to support us in a different way, where you would make a donation to Humboldt County Growers Alliance, and through that, you would be invited to one of our private party events. We're doing 4 different events in December. December 6th and 7th and 13th and 14th. We will be doing these holiday craft fairs, and the farmers are going to be there set up with all their stuff. And it's not just going to be cannabis stuff. It's going to be like holiday crafts. So I myself will have like my hydrosols and teas and jams. So you can shop around as well as meet the farm and have a toke with us and pick up your box.
That is so cool. And at the celebrations, there's going to be goods like music, treats, things like this. So for people to kind of maybe shop for their holiday, pick up more gifts for the holiday.
Yeah, and we hope to have food aligned there. I mean, we're in the process of setting everything up, but by the time this is out, everything should be locked in, and there'll be food and music and different farmers and different crafts. It'll be a really good time.
That's exciting. So for the donors, I understand that there's only 100 boxes available to go out to the donors. So get them while you can, I guess. Are there still boxes left for donors? Yeah.
Yes, there are still boxes left at this moment, but they are going pretty fast. And you can get multiple boxes at a time if you wanted to like gift them out. They make great gifts for any like real stoner connoisseur. I mean, this is just such a cool gift because you get to try 12 different farms and flavors. And like Matt was saying, even if they're all different strains, but even if they were similar, they're going to be completely unique because they're in these different bioregions and climates that are so unique, and what the Emerald Triangle is known for.
Yeah. Amazing. Craig, I wanted to ask you, unlike Patricia and Matt, for whom this is their first year doing 12 Days of Christmas, this is your second year doing it, which means that you've been there from the start. So I wanted to ask, how did it go last year?
Last year was great. I think it's just a really cool project, and the brainchild of Judy from Soul Spirit Farms. And, last year was the first time doing anything. It has challenges and learning curves to it. So we pulled it off last year. It was a success. And then this year, the momentum just started way early. The whole group's been super organized and engaged. And it's been really cool to see the community of the whole Emerald Triangle come together and like we've had these duties and these tasks, and it's been quite a little bit of work, but that's how you get things done, is everybody's got to do their part. And it's been super cool to work with everybody, even though I haven't met all these other farms yet. So it's great to interact with them, and we'll all be meeting at the 4 events. And I think it's just also worth noting that this whole project is a fundraiser. So it's all to help benefit the efforts of the Humboldt County Growers Association to help kind of better our situation as growers through county and state regulatory lobbying for us to help make the barriers and the fees and all the nonsense that we have to deal with just to grow a plant less. And so that's the great thing, is you're going to get 12 amazing joints to smoke with your friends and family, but you're also helping us as farmers and the community to help try and better the plight of what we go through as growers.
So the proceeds go to the Humboldt County Growers Association, and that's helping out all the farmers, the small craft farmers in the region, basically.
Yeah, we are based in Humboldt, and is Humboldt, but they're doing work that benefits Trinity County and Mendocino County as well, and doing a lot of work on the state level. And that, again, is all a nonprofit and mostly volunteer people running that at this point, because a lot of those farms have a hard time paying membership dues when the price of cannabis just keeps going down and oversaturated. So it's a great opportunity to support real legacy craft farmers and get a great product that is limited edition and looks super cool. I mean, anyone you give this box to is going to be like, this is awesome.
Amazing. Well, that's about all the time that we have today for our Friday 420 Christmas edition. I wanted to ask if any of you have any last messages for the year that you'd like to send out to your supporters and your customers.
Support small craft legacy farms. Support the people that are growing in your region. You can go into a dispensary and buy flower from almost all over the state, but it's much better to support the region, the flower that's grown in your region, and with love and care, and the people have been doing it for their livelihood and their lives. I don't really know anything besides growing cannabis. I've been doing it for 27 years. And I love the whole aspect and continue to just like connect with the plant and the people that can appreciate it. And I think all the vibration that people feel it when they smoke good cannabis with good intent, what's grown with good intention, versus all the commercial cannabis grown on 50-acre farms in SoCal.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So, whether it's Talking Trees or Sunroots or Mendo Mystic or any of the other 12 farms and many other legacy farms that are out here, let's support the legacy craft cannabis growers. Yeah.
Support your local craft cannabis farmers. Become a donor to Humboldt County Growers Association. Patricia, Matt, and Craig, thank you all so much for joining me today, and happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah,
happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.